Hello, folks. It is Thursday. It's November already, November 2nd. Time flies so quickly. Yeah, I'm going to talk about music, but I have the radio on. I'm listening to Tom Ashcroft. On Point. It is part of my daily routine as much as I can handle the show. Before I talk about music, I will say once again, because I want to try and get other folks to recognize this. The mainstream media is corporate owned and totally manipulated. All it talks about is money, death, and politics, which is ruining life. Politicking, the politicization of everything has taken the steam out of the future. Okay, let's go to music. Think about what I said. If you don't have those thoughts already, take a look around you and tell me it's not true. Don't tell me. Look around and think about what we can honestly do more than sound the alarm to try to help. Okay, see, that's the kind of person I am. Okay, so once again, I want to honor a particular musician. I will mention Fats Domino. Fats Domino passed away. He was in his mid-80s, late 80s. Again, probably one of the first records attributed to rock and roll. They say it's Rocket 88. It could be, but it could also be The Fat Man by Fats Domino. I think technically Fats Domino's record was released before Rocket 88. I don't know if that what. Of course, these days it seems like facts don't seem to matter much to people, do they? I can't help myself. But the musician that I want to call attention to, who apparently died Sunday, but was announced yesterday in the news, is Mule Richard Abrams. I've just got a couple of recordings to show you. But Mule Richard Abrams was a Chicago-based jazz musician who was one of the co-founders of the AACM, the Association for the Advancement of Creative Musicians. It's still going today. It's the association through which the Art Ensemble of Chicago was born. Apparently they've been doing some amazing things for many years, and he was one of the co-founders. Mule Richard Abrams was a pianist, mainly self-taught, steeped in the blues, but he really took to improvisation and I guess what the term you could use, non-idiomatic approaches to making music, which means he learned the basics. It's important. I do agree that it's important to know the basics, and one of the basics of music is the blues. And the more you know the structure of the blues, it's very freeing. I do know that. I am not an expert on the blues, but I do know how to play several of the main forms of the blues. So what I'm getting at is Mule Richard Abrams was a giant of improvisation and composition. And while the blues is in the base of his music, you really don't hear it. It's more like you feel the roots. You feel the fact that this man really knows what he's doing, okay? I like improvisation. I like avant-garde. I like things that are abstract or seemingly on the surface abstract. But there's a difference between improvisation, expression, pure noise, and just noise, like noise that's just noise. Wonderful improvisation is not that at all. There's so much happening inside of what the person's doing. Mule Richard Abrams is a very good example of that. This is the type of music that it doesn't do any good for me to play a little sample right now. Look him up and listen online. This whole album is on YouTube, so you can listen to this. He did this with Malachi Favors on bass. This is wonderful. This really is. The other album that I could pull up right quick to talk about him is Anthony Braxton's debut album, 3 Compositions of New Jazz. I think this was released in 1968, and Newhall Richard Abrams is the pianist on this. And Abrams worked with Braxton quite a bit throughout the years. When you hear this stuff, at first it can be off-putting, seemingly angular or just odd. I'm telling you, it's a whole form of expression that is highly original and very intense. It took me a while, like the band Henry Cow, it took me a while to understand how to appreciate Anthony Braxton and this whole group of musicians. I'll tell you, my life is much better for it. And Newhall Richard Abrams was there at the beginning. So I want to shine a light on him. Rest in peace. He was, I guess, 87. Never got a chance to see him play. But that's someone I feel is important to mark the passing of. Someone had asked me, people are asking me about music all the time. Some I feel compelled to answer, others I don't. This one hit a nerve. Someone asked me, well, what do you think of XTC? Well, I love XTC. And XTC, when I found out about them in the, let me see if I can find the first album. Yeah, when I found out about XTC, reading the English music news, because I was addicted to it, you know, Enemy, Sounds, Melody Maker, the way that they were hyping XTC, I knew I wanted to hear them. I could tell something was going on. They were hyping it, but I could see, okay, this is probably something good. Sure enough, it is. This is a reissue of their first album, White Music. I said it because original copies of the album, White Music, is here at the top, but you have to, you know, you don't see it. It's, I don't know what that term is for the way it's pressed on here. White Music is the perfect description of this music. There's nothing funky, black, bluesy at all about this music, which is partly what was appealed to me. Am I saying over and over again in my videos that music has been a big escape for me from my surroundings? Hell yes. Hell yes. And quirky, their lyrics are important, but the thing about it is the music reflects the cleverness so well that it has always made me want to pay attention to what the lyrics are saying. Okay, so this is a band whose lyrics I'm familiar with. Well, actually, Peter Gabriel and most of my favorites, Genesis, I know the lyrics, but it's the music first. Okay, the same with XTC. They put out a ton of records over the years, so I couldn't collect them. I can't collect them all. There's so much, but I do have some singles. They put out a bunch of really cool singles. I'll show some. I think this was their first hit, Making Plans for Nigel. I just watched the BBC documentary on XTC where Andy Partridge talks about how it vexed him, and of course it would. XTC was his band, his baby, but the first hit they have is not written by him, but the bass player, Colin Moulding. So the record label starts to court Colin as the leader of the band, the most marketable. See how I just hate that. To me, it's about the music. It's not about the market. If you can see the XTC documentary, it's really good. Sergeant Rock is Going to Help Me. Great songs. Here's one, The World Over, with the postcards. That's a stack of postcards under there. Here's an early one of theirs. This is Pop. Backed by Heatwave. Barry Andrews, who started the band Shriekback, was originally in this band. Great stuff. I can easily get into an XTC mood. Here's one of my favorite songs by them. The way it's recorded, the beat and everything. Ball and Chain. Save us from the ball and chain. Yes. I also got to see XTC. Let me not forget. I saw them on the Black Sea Tour. I have a recording of the show. It was in Lawrence, Kansas. A friend of mine recorded the show, and I got a copy of it. Which one is this? Respectable Street. Yeah. Wait Till Your Boat Goes Down. Great band. Here's one that comes in a bag with an illustration on the outer bag and the two singles inside. This one is Towers of London. Yeah, as much as I could back in the day, as soon as their singles would come out, I'd get them. No Thugs in Our House. Excuse me. So it's pretty apparent I like XTC, huh? Another amazing song and single. Since it's working overtime, this is a real neat cover. I'll go ahead. You know, I talk about race a lot because things need to change. And the only way things are going to change is to talk about them and to mess with people's comfort level. Isn't this cool? Isn't that cool? And one of the things that I, as a minority, have always resented about the world and how it is white-centered is how white people and light-skinned people are the ones who get to do stuff like this. The main thing that black people do, okay, I can't even put it into words, but I know what I'm saying. I've been watching it and experiencing it the whole time. That's why I kick against it. You know, my music is very original. You know, it's not even on purpose. It's just a real expression of who I am, and it's not a typical black sound. I resented the fact that I was expected to sound black. Okay, do you dig what I'm saying? It's still here now. It's still here. Okay, here's another. Clear vinyl. Life Begins at the Hop. This is great. Clear vinyl. Great song. Great single. Then, of course, I know that they put out the other project, the Dukes of Stratosphere. Yeah, I know that's XTC. Here's the Mole from the Ministry. Another one. You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. Ain't nothing but XTC going on here, Dukes of Stratosphere. I have more. Actually. Generals and Majors. Great songs. I love 45s. Being a child of the 60s or the 50s and 60s, I was born in 55. My first fascination in this world was this little round records, 45s. Love them. Here's a collector's item, flexi disc from a magazine, XTC, looking for, what is this, Footprints. Came with the Flexi Pop magazine. I used to buy those. I still have it. Are You Receiving Me? Unfortunately, damaged by the cats I used to have. That's cat piss. Of course, I'm keeping the record. Yeah, the record plays. Loving a Farm Boy's Wages. I mean, again, beautiful packaging that really fits the craftsmanship of this music. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, just a few more and I'm out of here because this is getting to be too long. Statue of Liberty. Wonderland. A Japanese pressing of Making Plans for Nigel with the live cut on the other side. And then this is the bonus single that came with the original Drums and Wires, which I bought. Cat piss on it. Cat pissed all over my singles one time. Still have that. Okay, I've got some of their albums, but I'm going to stop here. Let me know your thoughts, people.